does the word whisper to you? Well, to get started, connection to the roots, Mother Nature, the persistence to stay grounded through the finished and the unfinished, the nurturing of newness, and the ability to feel alive and kicking yet again. For times like these, which feel unexpectedly burdened because of a stormy 2020, our search led us to her. She who is a believer, a creator, a ceramic and a pottery artist. She knows no limits and she flows like a river, her hands being the perfect brush strokes to her canvas. She's ethereal, feels like Maya. She is Maya. Everybody, meet this Zaikaana feature and her story of why ceramics, how she helped cure a child of Down syndrome, the status of ceramic schools in India, and the fascinating world of pottery she's nurturing through her school. Our Kumhari for you today, Maya. Hey Maya, tell us a little more about you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Maya. I'm a ceramic artist. I started my pottery career in the year 2011. It all started as a passion, and now it's a passion converted into a profession. So it's been a journey. Yeah, it's been 7 to 8 years since I've been, my journey has begun. I started off as an apprentice to a British potter. So my teacher is Homa Fali.
What about pottery excites you?
See, the best thing about pottery is it's a very forgiving medium. So even if you make mistakes, it gives you a second chance to kind of rebuild or start from the scratch. So I think that's the best thing about clay. So it's a very forgiving medium.
How has pottery helped you connect to communities?
I would say we used to handle a lot of projects with kids with special needs, and especially like I said, mentioned, clay is the best medium and it's the most forgiving medium. We used to have children who initially found it difficult to work with, but when they knew there was something coming out, the final project or the final piece which they see, the satisfaction with the child gets, and so he or she knows that I'm definitely be proud of my finished work, which is more satisfying as a teacher. To see the happiness in the child. I remember one word. Her name was Sarah, and she used to love the wheel and of course the hand building. And I remember she mentioning this to me. I want to make an angel. So I asked her, why do you want to make an angel? So she said, no, the angel is going to protect me.
How were you introduced to this world, and what made you decide to set up your own pottery studio here in India?
Back in the Gulf, we had started up a ceramic studio, which was more like an open access studio, which is called Yadavi, and it was owned by my friend Muhammad. So we were, I kind of helped him with the initial conception and setting up the whole studio. So one of the reasons, so I had a similar concept when I moved into India, to set up a ceramic space for and build a community for ceramics. And how clay, I was so curious to this medium that I kind of was literally looking for places where I could learn pottery, and so that's when I found Homa, and it all started off with the weekend sessions with Homa, and then I moved on to the weekdays as well. And then during the conversation, it so happened that she mentioned there is an opening for an apprentice coming up at the studio, and would you be interested? And I was like, yes, that's the, and that's when I was working then. So I had to really take a decision on leaving the job and taking up, learning pottery as a full-time thing. So, but the decision was difficult, but I think the bell rang, and yes, I kind of just jumped into it and took up the offer. And so in I was with her as an apprentice for more than 5 years.
For someone not from the pottery world, what are the different steps involved in pottery?
See, when you're talking about ceramics, you cover the sculpting side, which is the hand building, and also the potter's wheel. So basically, the process in pottery is you kind of make a piece, whether it is any clay, earthenware, or stoneware or porcelain. So you would be, making the piece. You let the piece dry. So the piece dries for a couple of days, and then it goes into the kiln where you fire it, and the first firing we call it as a bisque firing in pottery, and then the piece is then glazed. So these are very special ceramic glazes that we use, which has to be fired, and it goes back in the kiln for the second firing, and so that's how you get the complete product then.
Surprise, everybody! We wanted to close a little differently this time because Maya is such a passionate artist and she has two lovely daughters, one of whom has taken up pottery and is really interested, and the other one not so much. So we thought it would be cool. Arpita, Malvika, say hi.
Hi.
Alright, Arpita, tell us first why that interest or not so much of interest in pottery.
Never been a very artsy person, I would say, so I don't have a lot of interest in pottery. I do sit around when mom has classes a little bit, and when she got her exhibitions, do hang around and all around with her, but not so much of an interest as an artsy person. I wouldn't call myself an artsy person, so that's why I don't think I do have that much interest in pottery.
Alright, to the other younger shining Jean, what interests you so much about pottery?
So the medium interests me a lot, and then when it comes to the colors, when it comes to glazing, there are a lot of different colors to experiment with, and then there's a lot to experiment with. Example, for more shine you can use glass, so when it goes in the kiln it melts and it gives a better effect and look in the end. So I find it very nice because in India not everyone does pottery. It's not a very famous art form like drawing and painting. So that's what I think. It's a very different style. So that's why I'm attracted to it a lot, because it's really fun. And yeah, I find joy when I do it.
Maya?
Journey has been amazing so far, and no regrets and no looking back, so it's been great. Yeah, and I think I found my best friend with clay. Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. More power to you, Maya.
Yes.
Everybody, please follow Maya's work, and we'll see you another time, another stall. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.